day, it's Ben Hyde here from BCC Hardware, and today we're taking a look at the brand spanking new TCL 10 Pro. This is a new device from TCL that comes with 6 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage built in, and a lot more. This is actually a pretty nice device for the price. It's phenomenal, and we're going to be taking a little bit deeper look at some of the features and the OS here as we carry on. The TCL 10 Pro has what they call their waterfall display. It's kind of a rounded glass edge, very similar to the device from Samsung, and it has this edge tray as well, where you can put your apps. It comes with actually a ruler app built in, which is actually pretty nifty in inches or centimeters depending on your preference. As well as, it's basically a kind of a bone stock Android feel. It does have TCL's UI involved as well, just to kind of make this a little bit sleeker and smoother and a bit more of their experience. However, if you're familiar with kind of bone stock Android or even Samsung's new TouchWiz, this is very similar. Out of the box, there's several things to note that I thought was quite interesting that set this apart a little bit from the other devices in the market. They've got on this side, on the left side, they got what they call their smart key, and you can configure the smart key to do multiple things, either on a single press to have it launch any sort of an app you want, double press can do something, or a long press. So there's those features there, and when you choose those, you've got, you can launch Google Assistant, you can launch specific cameras, you can do video, right to video, super night mode, different features in the camera, you can open galleries, smart manager, including optimizing your device, the edge bar, you can pop that open, flashlight, take notes, all sorts of things from any one of those single press, double press, or long press. I found that when this device was in a pocket, I would often do that single press on the side key and launch whatever that was. So a flashlight was not ideal because suddenly I'd have this blazing light heating up my pocket, which was not really awesome. So this is set up right here is pretty much out of the box. I haven't tweaked a lot or installed a lot of apps. And so they have some folders by default installed where you can, all of your Google stuff is in one place. Makes a lot of sense. They've got their own music apps and then things like Optimize, NX Vision, and we'll talk about that just a touch more here in a moment. Before we talk too much more about the OS features in the software here, one thing that I think is really neat is the build and the design, the coloring of this rear case. On the camera here you can see it looks like it's kind of gradiented, but in up close and personal it's all one color, but depending on how the light hits it to what the back does. So very, very attractive design. And you can see too, it's got a multitude of cameras, got a couple of LEDs for flash on the back, as well as your wide angle, your zoom lens, and of course the main shooter as well, which is a 64 megapixel lens on this as well. Seems to be a very solid, robust camera, lots of features, and yeah, just well designed overall. So on the top here, you've got the microphone sensor as well as your infrared transmitter and a headphone jack. So go figure, all you headphone guys will like that. On the bottom, we've got the USB-C speaker and a microphone as well. So in addition to that, we've got the SIM card tray, which actually holds a SIM in the same length of the tray. On the other side is your add-in micro SD card, so you can add that storage as well. So a couple things we'll note here is the gallery. They use their own gallery application, which a lot of companies use their own. There's a one-touch on-screen to lock. I'm not exactly sure why you need a software button to lock when a side button works, but if you want to do that, that's good. You can quickly lock that. It has Google Assistant, Duo installed, of course, all the main stuff, and I have added Facebook and Amazon shopping as well. Now for tools, it's kind of neat. They've got your calculator, your compass, and it does have a built-in radio. So TCL's UI on this device is a little different to get used to with my main phone, where you pull down anywhere in the screen and you get your list of installed apps. TCL, you pull down anywhere in the screen, you get your notification tray. If you go up, there you've got your apps, and they have them default sorted by recent apps used, by the communication apps, media, utilities system, and so on and so forth there. Overall, it's not a bad layout. It's just, for me, again, just getting used to having to swipe up for your list of apps. And of course, you can sort them as you choose. On the bottom, the default Android keys to switch to your task manager. You can do that way, or you can, your back button. That's all pretty standard. One thing that some people do not like, doesn't affect me at all, is this cutout here. They've got the cutout for the camera on the top, as you can see. Still fantastic screen ratio on this device. Like, it's really remarkable the amount of screen you've got on this device. I mean, right down to the bottom, all the way to the top minus that notch. So pretty cool overall. The camera itself is really more than capable, and for the price of this device, looking at about 450 US MSRP to about 600 Canadian here, it's pretty hard to pass up as far as features and performance go. So we're going to jump into settings here for a moment just to kind of see the differences with the TCL device. A couple things worth noting as we jump into just network and internet. That's pretty much all the same. I mean, you've got your hotspot capability there, as well as Wi-Fi calling, which is a newer feature with Android that seems to work really well. Then you've got your Bluetooth in your casting stuff. You got an NFC. You can cast to whatever device. That's kind of all built-in print subsystem there as well. Now on the display, you have got the dark mode, which I'm a big fan of. I like saving battery. I mean, the basic stuff there for screen. I don't see in this one where you can change your resolution like you can with a Samsung. It's not as immediately visible. Onto this NXT Vision, which is a TCL thing. You've got your visual enhancement, which you can adjust the contrast sharpness based on the video you're watching or what you're doing. They can upscale from standard dynamic range, to high dynamic range. You've got reading mode, you've got the screen color to be vivid, whatever. You've got sunlight readable, which increases just the contrast a little bit and the brightness. But overall, and of course it has got all the blue light filters for nighttime and that sort of thing too. Just to eliminate that, help you maybe get to sleep a little easier without your brain being quite as alert and awake. Yeah, there's just other features. I guess it's got the edge bar, which is great. I mean, I really enjoy that on my S20. It has gestures, it's got one-handed mode, it's got all these game modes, driving mode, and of course, like we talked about earlier, it's got that smart key as well. So as far as security goes, it does have fingerprint, it does have face unlock, it does have basically your smart lock, so you can actually have it, wake up or not use a lock code if you're at the location you want to be at. If you're at your home or a place of business, you won't have to unlock it there. You can even turn on apps, specific apps can be locked. If you maybe don't want your kids getting into the Google Play Store, but yet you want them allowed access to your phone, you can lock that so they can't be buying stuff. Lots of interesting little features there, and just kind of the basics, but also, I mean, you're not skimping out on security with a mid-level device such as this. So under accessibility, you've got the features such as talkback. You've got the other ones, you can control your phone via large menus, select to speak, all these things. But one thing that's kind of neat here, more than a lot of this stuff, is the fact that you actually have a pocket mode clear there at the bottom, where if it's sensing based on the sensors in the back and the front that it's totally dark, it's not going to allow you to poke a bunch of software keys and that sort of thing. However, like I've talked about before, with pocket mode on, I was still able to access that smart key, which was a little bit inconvenient, so I disabled just the single press for my use. So as we take a look a bit more about this phone, we go to the About phone in the system menu, and it tells you at a glance here what you've got going on. What we've got going on here is the actual model number is the T779B from TCL. It's running the Snapdragon 675 processor, so not the fastest and the latest and the absolute greatest, but still a very capable processor that works very well. Our screen resolution is a pretty astounding 1080 by 2340, for a phone in this price point. And then of course the cameras, we've got the 64 megapixel sensor, as well as the 16, the 5, the 2, and then the 24 on the front for the front facing camera. The RAM is 6 gigs of RAM, as aforementioned, with 128 gigs of storage. Battery capacity is 4,500 milliamps, so not the hugest battery on the market, but however, it seems to be balanced with this processor and the screen on this device. Yesterday, I went through the whole day, used this device quite a bit, and at the end of the day, I was sitting at 71%, which is phenomenal. Mind you, I didn't have the screen on a bunch. I wasn't watching video, but I was using the phone like I probably light to medium use, and not really working it with apps, but just, you know, doing the thing. And it was quite phenomenal. I was very impressed with the performance of the battery on this device. So comparing this device to the S20, which is full of fingerprints here, but this is the size comparison to the S20 Ultra. So it is a little smaller, a little narrower, and a little shorter, but not dramatic. So if the S20 Ultra is just a bit too big for you, you know what? This phone may be the one that you actually have been waiting for. My only real concern with this device from TCL is that it has absolutely no water resistant rating on it from the manufacturer. It has a fantastic screen, has great battery life, has very adequate performance. The speaker quality in it for playing music right out of the speaker isn't ideal, but TCL makes up for that with a headphone jack, which I'm a super fan of because I have some very nice headphones that I still like to use. I've got some great Bluetooth headphones, but when the battery goes dead, you're out of music. It's really nice to be able to plug it in and carry on. So again, this is the TCL 10 Pro, and it's a pretty sweet device for the price point here from TCL. And if you're looking for a device, kind of a flagshipy device on a budget, this thing is going to get you about 95% there. It's not quite all there with a Snapdragon 675, but as far as day-to-day performance, even some light casual gaming on it, I haven't seen any lack of performance in this device that would make me think, geez, I really need to spend an extra $1,400 on the S20 Ultra. So this is it, the TCL 10 Pro. Check it all out with some camera samples and more over at bcchardware.com.